a golden era too of like, in our house we had like a computer room, since computers and monitors and printers and everything were so big at
Hmm.
that point. So it was basically just like a room with a desk in it. And like the amount of stuff that my parents bought for me that I played that I should not have been playing at all was really high.
That was my thing too. I was explaining this to my wife earlier this week. My dad used to work IT in
Mm,
late 90s, early 2000s. So yeah, he would come home and he would just have like all of this old fucking equipment that
right.
he just hobbled together and oh look, now you have a your own personal computer at home.
That's right.
Granted, the thing was twice the size of my current tower and couldn't even do a
Right.
quarter of what my current tower can do, but
Right.
man, that got me through some weird messaging chat
Oh
applications that
god,
I
yeah,
was,
like once AOL came around, it's just like Prodigy.
which was another thing that my wife and I were looking
ICQ.
into.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like,
ICQ.
we were looking in at the Internet Archives to see, okay, has anyone ever archived any of like the message boards or chat
Oh, sure.
messages or
Yeah.
any of that shit? And some of them, yes, but not all of them.
Right.
My wife got this weird, really weird, scared look when I brought up. It's like, I think we could probably pull up Yahoo chats, and she's like, you don't want to go digging.
Nope. Nope.
I'm like,
You
I
don't know
didn't
what
mean
sort of dead
specifically
bodies you're gonna find
well,
over there.
we were trying to make a point to our kids that anything that you post on the internet, even if
Sure.
you've deleted it, somebody can find it.
Yeah.
And so I had just made an example of, I bet if we looked hard enough, I could find, the first time your mom or I had been on the internet.
Right, and she's
then
like,
she
"Yeah,
got
you
her-
want to go digging over there? Hmm? Hmm? You gonna be happy with what you find?"
I was like, look, I ain't trying to pry. I'm just telling
That's
the
right.
kids that anyone could if they wanted to.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that like I've always done a pretty good job of like if something has died on me, like hard drive wise or PC wise, of like pulling that hard drive out, attaching it by whatever to a new machine, and then pulling all of the shit off that hard drive and storing it away just in case I need something from it one day. Be
Right.
that like photos or whatever. I'm pretty sure I probably still have some version of the chat logs from ICQ, MSN Messenger,
Oh,
for
IRC, all
AIM.
stored somewhere on this like
Yep.
12 terabyte hard drive I have sitting down here. And it's
Yep.
like, I don't want to look at that. I don't want to see. 'Cause
Inside the
Those things
old
where you have
computer
nightmares
folder.
about how you were as a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm an angsty 30-something-year-old. And I know I was angsty as a teenager, so it's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be like magnifications worse as a teenager than I am
For
now.
sure.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I always go the route of earth magnets and the gun range when I have a hard drive that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
Yep.
Good old military wiping.
That's right.
I legally cannot grow the gun range. Thank you very much.
That's true.
Why? Because you're still
I need a license.
really in New York, or
Uh-huh.
didn't know that.
Which I don't know if I can find 3 people who will be willing to state that I'm of sound mind and body to get a pistol license.
They're calling you a bunch of your
I mean-
friends and they're like, "Well."
Uh-huh.
Do I have a podcast for you?
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Man.
Well, hey,
All right.
you ever make it out to Michigan, I'll take you to a gun range.
There you go.
Now I've got to drive through Vegas to get to California at some point. So
That-
I don't have to just go to a gun range. I can go to a rocket launcher range.
I was gonna say that is the
True.
best and worst idea ever.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, you guys ready to start this thing?
Uh-huh.
Start.
And Nimp, I don't know what you're complaining about. There's going to be a Formula One Grand Prix there. There's another chance to go and have a meetup.
I am
Right.
not going to Vegas for a F1. I don't
You
want
shouldn't
go
go to
to
Vegas
by
in the
myself.
first place.
Yeah.
It's hot
But
and
not when
miserable there.
Montreal's right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I'd rather go to another country than go to our own country.
That is fair.
Someone had brought that up too. It's like, oh, you're not going to Miami. It's like, I don't want to go to Florida before COVID. I sure as
Yeah.
fuck don't want to go now.
I'll go the other direction.
Oh, believe me, I'm thinking about that right now.
Yeah. God.
Even Texas, when they brought up about Austin, I was like, I was never a big fan of Texas anyway.
Yeah.
if it was going to go to Texas, Austin would be the place I would go. But
Well, I was gonna say the people seem nice. Like, I'm not saying all people from Florida or Texas are bad, but there's a reason why everyone sees a news header and it's usually followed with Florida man.
That's right.
uh-huh.
The country's best supervillain, Florida Man.
Yes.
All right, you guys ready?
I'm gonna write that down as a title, and I don't care if only the Patreons know about it.
No, we're live. We're good. Sort of. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston Jim. As always, is Moonpeer.
Howdy.
And the Nimp.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1.
The numbers, just so you know.
Yeah, just floating the idea out there. You can get all the cool early access, behind-the-scenes, exclusive audio there. At the $2 or higher tier, you get access to the exclusive Outcast. That's the uncensored kind of outtake stuff we talk about before we go live. We also put the... you see it if you're watching the live stream, but we put the in-between segment stuff in there too, and then we put the titles at the end of it. So it's kind of a companion piece to the audio version every week. If you're $5 or higher, get access to the Critical Misses production meeting that happens between every season. We're rolling up on, for patrons, the end of season 12, I think, next week. So the week after that will be the season 13 production meeting. So you can get that. It's exclusive for patrons, $5 tier or higher. And you get early access to We Roguelike It, show where Moon and I are playing through as many roguelikes as we can stomach, which turns out to be... We just recorded episode 172 this week, so it turns out a lot of them.
Yeah, but dude, we put like basically one game per month is essentially the schedule.
Yeah.
And like 6 roguelikes come out every week, it feels like. We're never going to get caught up at this rate.
No, we won't. But we're going to have fun trying, at the very least.
I mean, you guys started at a good time where it was like, roguelikes, that seems to be a niche thing that nobody cares about.
Right.
Oops.
Whoopsie. Yeah. Also have early access to Critical Misses. We're talking about prediction meeting earlier, but you haven't heard of the show, or if this is your first episode listening to TVGP, hello, hi. That's a show where Moon and I are catching up on all the media hits we missed. We mostly focus on movies, but, toss in some TV shows, some music in there every once in a while to keep it fresh.
We do have another music episode on the palette, which is going to be a weird one.
Yep.
And we have a cross-media season planned at some point in the future, which is going to be TV shows, books, and movies all at once.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
What could it be? Wink. That's can all be found at patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones are numbers.
Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Okay, so we're going to start with the most recent internet hotness.
Okay.
I love the fact that when we started the show, I looked that way and be like, oh yeah, Louise is all nice and snuggled, but the second she hears me talk, she's now at my ankles, headbutting my feet. So, thanks, Louise, as always. So yes, the latest internet sensation, which is Among Us.
Yes. Hot with kids.
So, yes, hot with the kids. Although the kids don't say sus anymore, which makes me sad.
Yeah,
I think sus has fallen out of the nomenclature.
Yeah, the internet moves too fast.
Correct. So I've played probably too much Among Us, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Here is a fun journey that I will take you down right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like touch controls.
Right, that's fair.
Sorry, Boston is laughing because Louise literally decided to jump into my lap and then cover the microphone. So I
she just puts herself between Moon's mouth and the microphone. It's like, this will be great.
That's why I had to kick all of my cats out.
That's right.
So I don't like touch controls, so I've been playing it a little bit on my phone, which I'm not a huge fan of.
Mm-hmm.
Like an idiot, I didn't try out my phone controller with it because I didn't have it with me at the time.
I forgot you had one of those.
So then I ended up playing it on my tablet because I was thinking, well, Among Us is on Game Pass.
Right.
And if I'm going to be playing this much Among Us...
Achievements.
I might as well be earning achievements while I do it.
Oh, you can't go wrong, yeah. It all adds up.
So I whip out the old tablet, I kick up the old Game Pass app, I turn on my controller, and I'm like, cool, navigate the Game Pass menu with the controller, get to Among Us, load it up. The controller doesn't work in the Game Pass app.
Incredible.
Specifically for Among Us. Every other game, it works fine.
That's weird. Okay.
So I closed the Game Pass version and I opened up the Android version of Among Us on the same tablet
Mm-hmm.
with the same controller,
Mm-hmm.
and it works fine.
They want you specifically to not get those achievements.
Yes, of course. So
But
I
you
ended
can
up
get
using-
Google achievements now,
Oh, wow.
which is a thing that I completely forgot was a thing. And
Yeah.
Oh, I got so many Google achievements on the stupid Marvel Strike Force. I don't need to get any more Google achievements. Thank you
Oh,
very
yeah.
much.
yeah, what's your Google level at?
That's right.
I don't know, dude. You think I ever looked at that thing?
Get some Google Platinums.
At one point, I was earning enough Google achievements to get a discount on my next purchase, like I ever pay for games on my phone.
Wow.
That's free to
Fancy.
play or nothing. That's my mobile
That's right.
like procedure. But anyway, I ended up playing Among Us a little bit with touch controls on my tablet on the Xbox because I'm an idiot. Very first game I played, very first task I had was the card swipey task.
Great.
Um,
Always a classic.
And there's an achievement for getting it right on your very first time.
Oh, boy. Okay. Of course there is.
I got the achievement.
Wow.
Literally the only achievement I have in Among Us is get that card swipey thing correct the very first time. Because,
MLG
of course,
Pro.
I was the first one killed.
Of course.
And I'm playing this in a room with 5 other people and like 6 randos from the internet. So we're doing quick chat. And
Nice save.
everybody
Nice
else in
save.
the room. Yes. Everybody else in the room is like, so who killed you? And I was like, I'm not telling you. That's the point of the game.
What do you think
I'm
this
not
game
telling
is?
you.
I was going to say,
It might
which
be-
one of the kids started giggling maniacally after you died?
That's right.
Out of the 2 kids we play with, one is a stone cold poker face.
Oh, wow.
Cannot tell a thing from their face. And the other is the worst liar I've ever heard in history, which the second they're the imposter just giggles maniacally to themselves. And it's just like, so we know you're the imposter, and then literally spends the whole game running after one of us in the room, not the randoms, but one of us who are in the room. And it's like, can I have a conversation with you in this room, please? Just this room? Just me and you have a conversation in this room?
They're polite about it at the very least.
About our Lord and Savior.
That's right.
Yes. Oh, so I was having that like random kid chasing me around asking for a conversation. I was like, no, I'm going to stay in sight of somebody else for this entire game, just so
Right.
you can't kill me. Thank you very much. But no, it's Among Us. It's fun. And I'm probably going to be reaching out in Discord for most of our listeners to try and get an actual more community-based one, because I like
be
playing
nice.
with randos, but it's more fun when you're actually talking with people.
Yeah.
And now that the thing is on literally every single platform,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do some testing and see how the Xbox Party Chat works versus Discord. Because if we have the same number of people in one room, I don't want us all coming through each other's mics. I don't know if it's gonna set it up on like one audio device there so that everybody can hear it.
Mhm.
Everybody else, or if we can use Discord to do it or whatever. So I'm going to do some messing around with that, see how it goes. Don't be
What-
surprised if you see me randomly trying to get people in for Among Us in the Discord, is all I'm saying.
What I've seen a lot of people on Discord do is you have 2 rooms, one for people who are alive and one for people that have been killed. That way, when you get killed, you gotta move yourself to the other room, and then you can talk with all the other ghosts.
Okay. That's interesting, but the only problem with that is when that happens, you're screwed if 4 people are in the same room.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. So that's the issue I'm going to run into. I'm trying to explain to these very young children that you literally don't talk while everything else is going on,
Right.
because the stone-faced child has a tendency of, as soon as they're dead, they just back out the room. It's like, no, don't do that. You're going to lose it. You're going to play with randoms. And then
You gotta
everything's not a
stay.
thing. You got to stay in.
That's
do
right.
the tasks. But yes, Among Us is still shockingly good. And because I started playing the Xbox version, I now have the Spartan armor and a little the little ghost fella chasing me
Yeah.
around from
Oh, nice.
first Halo. I can't remember his name. Guilty
Guilty
Spark.
Spark.
There
I
we
was
go.
gonna say Spark.
How do we remember that?
Because we forgot something important, and that's why we remember Guilty Spark in his designation
That
of
is
343.
Right. Well, and he's also in
Yes.
that library level, which is like a waking nightmare.
Yeah, true. But no, Among Us, it's
Almost
fun,
worse
whatever.
than the Water Temple.
Almost.
No, not even close.
Yeah.
The Water Temple is so bad.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, my second game this week is a game, and this is going to be fun, Boston, called Goroga. Goroga.
Is that the one with the giant eye and the...
Uh-huh.
Okay. I see that thing every time I scroll through Game Pass, and I'm like, I don't know, that seems like it could be something.
It's one of the most unique games I've ever played.
Oh, Gorogoa. Yes. Okay. Right. Yes.
I'm sorry,
one.
does my English not gel well with your American English?
No, I just...
I was gonna say, I knew what you were talking about.
No, I knew the game you were talking about because, like with Game Pass, it's literally like on the Switch store, the PS4 store, the iOS store. It's always like, hey man, you want to play this this weird puzzle game? It's like, yeah, I mean, eventually, yeah, but you guys are like really pushing it.
So it's about 3 to 4 hours long if you're going slowly.
Right.
For those who don't know what this game is, while Boston plays a video of it in the stream, if you remember those slide puzzles you got when you were a kid that were like 9 pieces of plastic and like it had an image on it and one was an empty space?
Every point-and-click adventure game for the last 30 years has one.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like that, except it's only 4 boxes. And like the boxes are basically windows into a story. And like you can interact with the boxes, change the scenes in the boxes. Like you can drag like an external thing from one of the boxes, move it down, and then change the original box to a different thing, and then use the outline to create something else. It's this really weird and cool narrative like game, just based on sliding images around.
Yeah, and like interacting with stuff to move stuff to other panels to do. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like you'll have to get an apple to fall from a branch. In one of your images, there's a bowl. In a different image, there's a big castle. But if you zoom into the castle enough, you can get a bird. And then the bird flies onto a branch. Then you zoom into that, and you can create this total image that causes the bird to shake the branch that has the apple to drop the apple into the bowl, which is on 3 different slides.
Gotcha.
It's this.
So don't play while drunk. Got it.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Let's say there is a stone falling puzzle that had me stumped for about 20 minutes because I was missing very obvious context clues.
Mm.
And I kind of got there towards the end, and then I was like, oh, I'm such an idiot. I needed to do this, then this, then this. And you have to basically manipulate tiles to have the stone fall through like 5 different tiles.
Mhm.
But while it's falling through one, you have to change a different one and then move it above that other one to have it fall into the next one, then change the scene on the third one. Like, that's the most
Interesting.
complicated puzzle in the game. But it's just kind of super chill. Like, the music's pretty solid. The art style is pretty cool. And like the gameplay itself is so unique. I've literally never seen anything like it before.
Mhm.
And I had a fun time playing it. Like I said, I beat it in like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then because I'm a sicko, I went back and got the complete the game in 30 minutes and used less than 500 moves achievements.
Nice.
Because why not? Which,
Yeah.
yes, that is another 1,000 gamer score clocked in for Mr. Moon over here.
Nice.
It's good. Give it a shot. It's on Game Pass. It's free, essentially. It's like $15. That is already on my games I quote unquote bought this year list. And my final game this week, because I needed simple, I needed basic, I needed entertaining. So I continued playing the Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga game.
That's why I played a lot of it this week too.
Okay. So I have some conversations specifically about one level that I need to breach here. But I'll get to that at the end once we've all said our piece, because I think it's great and it's delicious and it's terrible all at the same time.
Okay.
Aaron, you want me
so
to grab my wife so she can talk to you guys about this game?
Yeah.
So I completed the prequel trilogy. I also completed the regular trilogy, and I'm like right at the end of episode 7, I think now.
Okay. I've completed all 9 episodes.
You've done all 9. Have you done any in free play?
I've done 2 or 3.
Okay, because what's your multiplier at? Because I have to get competitive here.
I am like 100,000 studs away from getting ×8.
Me too.
Yeah,
so
I'm so close.
You've got 2 and 4, and you're just like nibbling away right at 8.
Yeah, I'm at like, I need 8 million studs. I'm at like 7.9 something million, and I'm just like, I need it. I've largely spent my week going to a planet and trying to do everything there possible, as opposed to going back and doing free play right away for the levels. I'm just doing Galaxy free play, which there are a lot of planets in this game.
Yeah, there is.
Thankfully, not all of them has a ton of stuff on them. There's one planet in particular that's just empty.
Zone.
Yeah, like some of them have like 2 zones and a bunch of buildings and stuff like that. That I did like a Night City area. I did a bunch of stuff in there. I'm in Hoth right now, which has been a pretty good area overall.
And like Dagobah's the same. Dagobah's like one little zone, that's it, and then once you're done with that, you're done.
Yeah.
And then you have Coruscant.
Oh god. Yeah, man. It's
like 17 different zones. It's like the Jedi Temple, East Apartments, West Apartments, the Council Chambers. It's ridiculous.
The Senate Council Chambers. It's like, why? There's so much, man. I just my only sort of overall feedback on finishing all 9 episodes was episode 8 is probably the weakest one. Nobody come at me with their hot Star Wars movie takes. I don't care. I love episode 8.
Me too.
There were a couple of levels that's just like, why am I... This is taking forever, or like, what am I actually doing here? Episode 3 had some really weird frame rate drops in one level. I don't know if that's because I've had the game open pretty much nonstop for an entire week on my PS5. That might have something to do with it. But everything else was super smooth. I only ran into one level in episode 7 where I got stuck. The one where you're fighting Phasma. Or is that episode 8? You're fighting Phasma in...
7 and 8. You fight her both.
Yeah, there's one where you're like setting traps for her, and one of them was like... Yeah, that one drove me crazy because it's like, she's stuck in the trap. And I'm like, wandering around being like, cool, what do I do? Walk up and punch her, which I should have realized because it's a Lego game. When you don't know what to do, you punch the enemies and then you punch the stuff all around you. Oh, look, I can build something. But that was one of those frustrating moments where it's like, okay, you probably could have just put one of those like blinking "do something here" symbols on, like, yeah. But other than that, all the episodes were really great.
Yeah, I'm so glad I finally got my scavenger abilities, which was a big thing that was stopping me from being able to do quick play. Because, like a moron, I started at episode 1. You don't get the scavenger abilities until
6,
I think. Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. That was one benefit starting at episode 4. Was at episode 6 they're like, the Ewoks get these abilities, and I was like, this seems fairly important. Okay.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to clear out levels back in, like, I was trying to do Thieves and couldn't do diddly with half of the people because, like, well, you need a scavenger, and the first scavenger you get is a Tusken Raider. So, sure, why not? But all in all, I'm still having a lot of fun with the game. Like, I genuinely am liking the fact, like, I didn't have any time to play anything. I literally played all of Lego Star Wars today.
Right.
Like, I made it through, like, 3, maybe 4 movies total, 3 and 2 halves today alone. And it was never stressful. It was never anything else. I was do some chores, play some Lego. Do some chores, play some Lego. Now I feel like a teenager, play some Lego. Well, it was fun with it all, and I'm still not unlocking every single character because I don't want that thing coming at me right now. And
No.
did you notice the good thing they do at Replay Boston?
What's up?
They give you one of each character class on that right select quick menu thing.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
It's so good.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, you need a bounty hunter
care
here.
which-
It's like, just hit left or right on the D-pad, tap, 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 and you're set. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care if I get Zam Wessel, if I get Django or Boba Fett. I don't care.
I couldn't care
Just
less.
Give me a bounty hunter, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
So that is so helpful.
I finally checked my. So, for anyone who hasn't played the game, you have 2 percentage values. One is the planet you're on right now, like how much of that is completed, and then you have your galaxy percentage completion, which is the one that you want to get to 100%.
Galactic readiness.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I finally looked today, and I'm at 35 or 36% on my galaxy. So that feels way higher than I was expecting it to be. I thought it'd be how you usually finish these games. And you're like, all right, I finished the story mode. How done am I? 12%. Oh, crap. Okay, great.
Yep,
But
every single time.
yeah. So things are going okay. I don't a lot of this stuff feels pretty good. A lot of the planetary puzzles I've been solving have been pretty fine. If you really get stuck in a puzzle, I really got stuck on one and I just wasn't seeing the solution. I just went and bought the rumor for it. And as soon as I bought the rumor, they're like, "Hey, do you want to highlight this on the map?" And I was like, "Oh, sure." And then it gives you the idiot GPS line where it's just like, "Yeah, go over here, man, and like punch that thing." It's like, "Oh, okay." So if you really get stuck,
That's really helpful.
yeah, it's because there was one where I was just like, I was on the planet, the green planet you go to in episode 7 as soon as Rey leaves Jakku, whatever that planet is with a big temple. Yeah. There was one where I was just like, I literally have no idea what you're asking me to go do, and if you get stuck, it's nice because there was one that I wasn't really stuck on, but I could see how if you're a younger player, it would be a little bit confusing, because it was kind of like a word puzzle, essentially. There was a character outside of that puzzle that's like, "Hey man, you want the answer? It's 10,000 studs." It's like, all right, that's pretty nice for younger players, but yeah, once you buy that rumor, it's just like, oh, you need to go do this thing over in this section. And you just highlight it and you make it your priority, and it just draws a line to it. I
wonder if that works with rumors you've discovered naturally, because like I know you discover rumors on other planets.
Yep.
So you can just jump in and like say, okay, highlight this on the map.
If you go in the rumors menu, once you've discovered it, you don't have to pay anything for it because you've already found the rumor. You can just highlight it from there, and it'll be like, yeah, man, it's over there. So that one is
that's really good.
I usually leave because I bought the pretty early on. I bought the thing on the map where you see like the blue circle halo things where it's like something is over here. I usually just kind of follow those, but sometimes you go into an area and you're like, all right, there's just like a patch of dirt here. Like what am I supposed to be doing here? And you can buy a rumor to be like, oh, shoot these 4 things in the trees that you're not looking at. It's like, oh.
Yeah, there's a mini kit on Hoth, which is probably that exact same thing, where it's like I could see the mini kit on the map. Yeah. I looked around and I couldn't see diddly. So I'm sure it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, there's targets somewhere I'm missing or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. So it's nice because that's how I would prefer it, where I don't have to go look at a YouTube video where it's like, okay, Kyber brick number 732, Hoth brick number 10. I need to and then, yo, what's up? It's your boy. Brr, brr, brr. And it's just like, oh, I just needed to jump on this box to jump. Okay, cool. Like I could have, the game could have told me that for 30,000 studs, and I would have been okay with that. So it's nice that I have that little bit of assistance there.
You just have to find Salacious Crumb in a back alley telling you, hey.
That's right.
Yeah.
What's up, kid?
Dude, there's a Toydarian's hanging around in Thieves, and if you want to get his, he's got a vehicle for you to unlock, and if you want to get that, you've got to literally mind control somebody, walk them over to him, mind control them again, and make him dance.
Great. That's super
It's
good.
literally to get the vehicle. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All in all, like I'm really, really liking this game, but there's one thing I have to point out. And you've done this level now, Boston, and probably more recently than I did. Well, maybe not. I did it today. Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
We can all agree, every Star Wars fan on the planet can agree what the worst part of that movie is. And it's always in video games because it makes a good video game level. Because it looks like a video game level in the movie. I am, of course, talking about the droid factory scene.
Yeah.
So, because I was playing it in episodic order, this is the one that introduces the old Lego format of 2 people in one location, 2 people in a different, doing things backwards and forwards to help each other.
You're switching between the 2 of them. Yeah.
The reason I'm specifically pointing this out is not because the level is any good. It's fine. It's
it's
a passable level. It's because it cracked me up so much, the entire level. Because it's Anakin and Padme, and R2 and C-3PO on the 2 different sides. And about halfway through the level, Anakin can't progress any further, and he sees someone asleep, and he literally starts yelling about how he wants to speak to the manager.
He does.
And the entire rest of the level, it's just like, nothing in this place is up to code. I really need to speak to your manager. Where is the manager of this place?
He's so angry about it.
To them. And I couldn't help it. But he's Anakaren Skywalker. That entire level.
Yep.
And the whole time I was just busting up because I was like, you know what? This is a bad part of the movie that most people hate. And I cannot help but adore the fact that they threw this random thing in that they didn't have to do.
And they never talk about it.
No. And it's very in keeping because he's angry Anakin at that point where he's already on that path to the dark side. And it was just, the whole time I was like, you know, I'm glad I didn't turn the mumble mode on because this delivery is just so good.
My favorite
entire way through the level.
My favorite instance of that is at the sort of midway point of episode 7, where you run back and see C-3PO, and he's like, boy, you're probably asking yourself, how did he get this really great shiny red arm? And everyone's like, shut up. Literally no one cares. Moving on. It's like, yep.
And
that's
the
great.
Sequence where he appears, he's also using a paint roller on it, and he's painting it red, which is just so stupid.
It's really good.
When he waves, he splatters red paint all over the side of the ship, which is hilarious. I did like Finn smearing the pink cupcake across his his helmet.
Yeah, they have a bunch of really clever ways of getting around like the more adult kind of darker stuff that the movies have. Also, I forgot to mention, I didn't watch any of the cutscenes for episode 9 because I haven't seen that movie and I don't really want to get things spoiled by the Lego Star Wars game, so I largely just kind of ignored it.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't seen that either, but unfortunately I've had the whole plot spoiled for me, so that's fine. But like they don't even you never see Shmi. When Anakin goes back to rescue Shmi, he goes into a tent, he comes out of a tent, and literally his next line is, I couldn't save her. It's never mentioned what the actual situation is in the movie. It's just, well, she's not there.
There's a really good piece of slapstick with that, though, where he kicks out, like, a bunch of enemies, and, like, the first one comes out in one piece, the next one comes out in 2 pieces, and, the other guy, like, puts them together, the last guy comes out in 3 pieces, and the other 2 people put them back together, and then they kind of run off. Like, it's a really good, like, piece of slapstick comedy.
Question, did I just refer to them as native Tatooiners?
Because that's what they are.
Did I actually say that, though? I'm curious.
You did. You mumbled it just now.
Thank you, Star Wars Minute, for breaking me of that habit.
There you go.
Because they are native Tatooiners. They are the Tusken Raiders is a racist terminology, so the Star Wars Minute refers to them as native Tatooiners.
I see.
So I don't know why that's drilled into my head now.
Right.
The racism thing is a joke. They were just
They just it's like the Sabalba line.
It's like, well, yeah, the Sabalba, and when you said Shmi, that brought me up to like everything that they've been joking about with Shmi's name. So I had to quietly giggle to myself while you were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am really enjoying this. I'm kind of looking forward to doing like the other 80% of the game, which is like running through the levels to get all the mini kits and the true Jedi and all that, and kind of doing. But I'm having a lot of fun kind of ping-ponging around each of these planets I'm going to, where it's like, oh, ooh, cool, okay, there. Oh, I need to find one of 10 of these things on a bunch of planets. I need to find one of 10 of these things on a bunch of other planets. So I'm kind of doing larger and smaller, and like you said earlier, Moon, like sometimes you go on a planet and it's like, oh, I have this mission for you to go on do on this other planet, or I have heard this rumor about this thing you need to do on like 2 other planets away. So it's kind of neat that it's not, each one isn't just completely self-contained. They're all kind of bleeding into each other.
Yeah, and so generally speaking, I'm really enjoying this game, especially now that like previously it was a case of I'm sitting down playing 10 minutes and then jumping away and doing something else. Sitting down playing 10 minutes, jumping away and doing something else. You know, that kind of jazz.
Right.
But sitting down today and just putting a good chunk of like 4 hours into it in a row and not being annoyed with it, which is something that would happen to me with old Lego games, was just like, here we go again, trying to do this stupid level, trying to find this stupid mini kit. That's the one piece I'm missing to complete the level. And it's like, I'm not running into that at all so far with this game, which I adore. Yeah. And like all of these games, that transmission from grown-up themes to kids themes, like just changing it around, the comic timing on some of that stuff is hilarious. Can we talk about the second best thing after Anakaren, which is every time Palpatine uses lightning? Every time it gets me.
One of my favorite jokes in this game, and it is such a visual one, because he starts doing the like lightning hands, and then the game cuts back to him and he's holding 2 Lego pieces that look like he's holding lightning, and then he like tries to use them and it doesn't do anything.
It's not doing anything.
Yeah, he like throws them away and then does the actual lightning. Like it's they'd come back to it like 3 or 4 times, and it's every time it's like, oh, yeah, they're back. All right, this is pretty good.
My favorite one of that is the Return of the Jedi one, because he's on this big platform looking down at Luke and Darth, and then he does it, and he pulls out these tiny little lightning Lego sticks, and it's a big wide shot, and he's just like,
they're super tiny. He's like 20 feet away. It's really good.
So good.
Yeah, it's great. There's a lot of really good stuff like that, and I feel like there's probably a million little references I'm missing, because I'm not.
Did you get the asteroids one, by the way?
Asteroids one was pretty good. But I'm not like, I love the Star Wars movies, but I'm never like a super big Star Wars person. I don't know that deep about it. Like, I can tell there's probably a pretty good joke. Every time you run into a boss, there's always like the boss's name, and there's like the Star Wars writing underneath it. I haven't gone to look it up. I bet each one of those is probably a really great joke, because like every time you fight oh my god, what's the bad guy's name in the current 7, 8, and 9?
Kylo Ren.
Thank you. Every time you fight him, like, his subtitle is different, like very clearly different. So I'm sure there's some like wink and nod thing there. But yeah, it's really good.
So good. Like, and it's a game that legitimately got me laughing out loud. Like, which is very difficult to do right now, and I'm so appreciative of it, because I'm not kidding. That lightning bit got me every single time.
You're right. The wide shot of him just being like 20 feet away and 2 stories up, and having these like little, like less than half an inch, like ha ha, like zzz, like it's really good.
It's a classic comic time, and they've got all the usual Lego stuff of Han Solo goes to pull out a gun and he's got a banana instead, and he throws that.
Yeah, throws a fish at someone. Yeah.
Yes, I love the Lego games. Unabashedly, I've always loved the Lego games.
Yeah.
And I hope TT keep getting this license.
Yeah.
I know it's going more open now.
Yep.
but I hope they keep getting this license, and I hope they widen out their licenses a little bit, because I'd like to see something new from them. I don't know what that would be right now. Like, it's been a long time since they've done the Lego Jurassic Park. There's like 7 more movies to pick from now. Like,
yeah, I'm my knee jerk is probably that if you think about it, they'll probably do a bunch of Lego Marvel stuff. I'm surprised they haven't done like Marvel Phase 1. Now here's like how they're doing with Star Wars. Here's 7 to 10 movies, however long Phase 1 is. You know, they kind of wrap up that entire thing. Now here's Phase 2, and that's a brand new game. I'd be surprised if they didn't start doing something like that, especially because this game has already sold 3.5 million copies, I believe. Like, it's a runaway success so far, and it's only been out 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
So
I know there was issues with the delay and everything like that, but 2 years delayed, I think it was. I was like,
I think so. Yeah.
And like, I get it. That was also probably pandemic times. Probably didn't help with that.
Oh, for sure.
I got a Lego pitch. You ready?
I got it.
Okay.
Lego Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah.
But you don't unlock characters. You only unlock Lego vehicles.
I like it.
Okay. See, I could get behind that with one minor problem. Lego doesn't do anything above a 15. They will not license anything that's above a 15, I believe. That's why the Halo set is a Duplo set, not a Lego set.
I see.
They could always kidify it.
It's for sure, yeah.
Because there are definitely things in Lord of the Rings that they did, especially like was it Baron getting shot with like 20 arrows, and they just really kidify that where he just gets everything thrown at him.
Suckers. Yeah,
he got like the suction arrows
stuck to him.
Well, then he had I think he had a fish thrown at him at one point during that. So.
It would be really great for a Fast Saga one where it's like, all right, here's a racing level, and it's just Forza Horizon 4, like that Lego DLC where it's like, here you go, it's a legitimate racing game.
I would like for him to do something just completely off the wall.
Yep. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they'll do, because I feel like with very few exceptions, they put out like 400 Lego games at this point. I feel like there's 2 or 3 that are real stinkers, and either the rest of them are either like, yeah, this one's pretty good, or this one is legitimately great.
Yeah, I mean, what do they do? They've got their own branding.
Yep.
It's been 7 years since Lego Jurassic World, by the way.
Wow, that's way.
Well, saying those are rated R. Well, maybe the new ones are PG-13, but
new ones are PG-13s.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, they've done Jurassic Parks, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter,
a bunch of Marvel stuff,
Star Wars. Yeah, pretty much all Marvel, DC.
Marvel and DC, they've done both.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what else big that kind of like that they have left open.
I've got the stupidest, nichiest idea that's within a niche. So this is a nesting doll of niches here. We're going to take Lego.
Okay.
We're going to take Disney.
Uh-huh.
We're going to take Square.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to do Lego Kingdom Hearts.
Too many walls broken.
I would love to see that, if only to see how they would do the Cliff's Notes for Kingdom Hearts. It's like, how do you distill 15 crazy bananas storylines down into like a minute and a half long cutscene for like each thing?
But the good news is the gummy ship stuff would be so much easier.
Oh man,
because it's just Lego ships.
It'd be fun this time. Hot take.
And seeing a little Cloud figurine with his Buster Sword and a Sephiroth with his Masamune being way too big.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Or how they would handle summons.
There you go. Speaking of Cloud and Sephiroth, Lego Final Fantasy VII. Let's do it. Let's keep the spin-offs going.
The remake of the remake.
That's right. The D-make of the remake.
That's what Part 2 is going to end up being.
That's right. Yeah. We wanted Traveler's Tales for Part 2. We're gonna bring in Don't Nod for Part 3. Like, everyone is just gonna be really different. That'd be great.
The good news is, if they brought Traveler's Tales in for Final Fantasy VII Part 2, it would actually get finished within a reasonable amount of time, even with a 3-year delay.
That's true. And hey, maybe it would actually come out on Xbox this time. Square.
Still not there.
For real, Square.
Still not there.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Give me Dune. Give me a Lego Dune. I know they wouldn't because that is 100% an M. But I'd like to see. Give me a Dune because I want to buy a Lego Sandware. That's all I want.
I'm surprised they haven't made a Lego set for that yet. Maybe soon. Maybe when the second movie comes out. A tie-in then. Lego Arrakis.
I think they are currently in this suggested fan things. Like, you know how Lego has the fan suggestion things? Like, looks like there's a bunch of custom builds
Nice.
for it. But everything else is like, here is the fan suggested versions where people have made like the Lego figures but made them from other parts, essentially.
Right.
I'm trying to think. There's not really anything that's that big right now.
No, not like that.
That they don't already kind of have a hand in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, somehow they managed to corner the market and just keep an iron fist on it. So.
Yeah, and I think the only other thing you could probably do is like maybe looking at stuff that's been really popular for Lego has been like 80s movies, but I don't think you can do like a Lego Back to the Future because that's maybe not enough stuff.
Or
it wasn't
a Lego Ready Player One.
Oh, yeah, but like make it out of something
not
good.
Off of the movie. No.
Yeah. Oh, the book's so
but I mean,
much
like
better.
they already have like a good portion of the licensing right there.
Well, and that's that's part of why this has been the thing that's been really interesting that's been coming out over the last couple of weeks about Lego partnering with someone to make a kid-friendly
Dimensions. That was
Dimensions. There you go.
Lego Dimensions.
And I think part of Dimensions is going to feed into the metaverse stuff they're doing, which is just going to essentially be Lego Roblox. Like ignore the metaverse word. But I think if we're going to see anything like a Ready Player One, kind of like a mishmash of everything like that, then we'll probably see that in their metaverse stuff. Feyrer says Lego Avatar: The Last Airbender. There you go.
I mean, yeah.
You got a ton of stuff for that.
Dude, imagine a jump combination with Lego. Like, that would be the stupidest thing ever existing.
Lego Bleach, here we go. The game is 400 hours long.
One Piece is at what, 1,015 episodes right now?
I think so.
Could you imagine a One Piece game with all of those episodes?
This year coming out,
all of those characters?
Lego One Piece Part 8. Just like, oh god.
Dude, we always wanted a really good Dragon Ball game that's not a fighting game. I'm just saying.
Now we're talking about it. The only game that would let us do the driving school episode. It would be a Lego one.
Yes. and you go for the Home for Infinite Losers, and that would be fine. Because
that's true.
That's 100% appropriate for Lego.
Let's forget about the Home for Infinite Losers.
A Super Saiyan transformation would be hilarious because he'd just take his hair off and put on yellow hair.
Well, that's what I was just really thinking. It's like Dragon Ball, I think, is actually just dopey and weird enough to work with Lego and their sensibility.
And it's hugely popular. Like it's still, even today, is hugely popular. I think that's our one. I think it's Lego Dragon Ball Z. Probably not original Dragon Ball, and probably not Super. And any of the other stuff is probably just Z.
No, just do them all. Screw it. Yeah. Original. Just do a completion.
The Dragon Ball Saga.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for GT. Nobody wants that.
No, GT is not canon anymore, so that doesn't count.
That's right.
But that's all I've been playing this week. Now, take us away from this Lego thing discussion.
Yeah, wow, we got pretty far out there with that. Anyway, so Elden Ring. This is just going to be a quick thing. I got through the capital city. I beat the 2 bosses that were there, and now I'm in the Giant Mountains, which is the snow-covered area, which has a fire troll. I'm sorry, no, a fire giant, and that boss sucks.
Yikes.
It is huge. It moves too fast for as big as it is, and it has its area of attack is way too big, and it does it all the time, and this boss just sucks.
And it's on fire, I'm assuming?
It shoots fire.
Ah, okay. That's the other option.
It actually has, it looks like a giant pot lid is basically what its weapon looks like, and it can hit the ground with it, like you would with a pot lid, which covers way too much area in front of him. He can flip all the snow in front of him, which goes into a straight line in front of him for a very long time. Right. And then once you get to a certain point, he starts conjuring fire and shooting it all over the place.
Gotcha.
So, not a fun boss.
Right.
I have hit a wall with this boss right now.
Yeah.
So, to get over my, I don't know, being mad at this boss and yelling at it and having my wife asking if I'm okay, I picked up a game for the 3DS.
No, you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wasn't.
Oh, I'm hoping this is the game I think it is.
Maybe. I have 2 games for the 3DS.
Oh, a treat.
The first one I'm going to talk about is Crimson Shroud.
Ah, Crimson Shroud. What a great game.
I had not heard of this game before.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, within like the last couple of weeks, like a lot of random people that I've listened to podcasts, that are on podcasts, and a lot of things that I've read, all of a sudden this game is kind of like everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never heard of it before. It came out back in 2012, and you can still...
Listen to Pop.
Huh?
Have you been listening to Pop? Because this sounds like a Boston amusement game.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Crimson Shroud probably in like 2013, 2014, maybe? But it's been almost a decade. Cough, cough, cough.
Yeah.
I'm old.
So, Boston actually tweeted, or somebody had tweeted, and I think you retweeted about someone mentioning Crimson Shroud.
Yeah, someone was like, hey, you should buy Crimson Shroud before the 3DS store goes away, or whatever's happening. I'm not paying attention that closely to it.
So, after that, like I said, a couple other podcasts that I've been listening to have been bringing it up as an RPG that people should check out. I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to see if I can still get it, and I can. It was like $8 on the 3DS eShop.
Yep.
This game is a kind of based off of D&D in a little bit. It uses pewter figures that don't emote or anything. They're there on their little stands, and you get your story, which is okay. I think they need to do a little bit better with representing who's talking at that point in time, because sometimes there's 3 people on a screen and there's just text and you don't know on context who's saying what.
That's pretty much all the story you're going to get anyway, so...
Yeah. But basically what happens is on the lower part of your 3DS screen, you have a map, and you can move to certain points on that map within like this dungeon, and sometimes it'll spark a random event, sometimes it'll spark a battle. If you do a battle, all of your figures are put on one side, the enemies are placed all over, and you're basically just having your little pewter figurines attack the other enemy pewter figurines.
Yep.
And that's it. Like, nothing moves. It's just straight down, like, knit and gritty RPG. There is no leveling in this game. The only way that you can increase your stats and stuff is if you get multiples of the same type of equipment. You can meld them together, which will make them a plus whatever version of that. And then you can add certain skills and abilities to armor, weapons, accessories, whatever, so that way they have them. And that's it.
Yep. It's a very stripped down sort of experience.
Which is really fine. I'm 7 hours into this game, and probably 6.5 of those hours are me just grinding areas so that I can meld equipment together. That's it. I really enjoyed it.
This
really
was
cool. It's a fun play.
This was made by was designed by Yasumi Matsuno. So you probably remember him from Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy 12, Ogre Battle, stuff like that. Like he's hugely prolific in probably things you have played and things you'd like. Vagrant Story as well.
Yep. Which, funny enough, the main character that you have kind of looks like he's pulled straight out of Vagrant Story.
Yes. Yeah, very much that same cool art style. Who's the designer? Hitoshi Sakamoto does the music, which is incredible. I don't remember who the designer is. But yeah, it's a cool... Have you tried the 3D in it, actually? No.
Only because I forget that my thing that's called the 3DS has 3D.
You should try it. It's one of those cool games that does stuff with depth of field more than anything else, because usually you're like right behind your characters and the enemies are kind of like off, like across a river or something. So it has a cool depth to it, but there's no real flashy like, whoa, the fire's coming at me. Nothing like that.
Yeah. I am currently on chapter 3 or 4. I think I'm on 3. And from what I've seen, this game is fairly short. I think it's only 8 hours. 8 or 12, something like that.
It's very short, yeah.
So as soon as I can get back around to it, I'm planning on beating it. If I can get past trying to grind my Goblin Slayer Morningstar, because that's really bringing me through a lot. So next 3DS game that I have is Fragrant Story.
This is the one that I was hoping to hear about.
Wait,
yes.
Vagrant Story or Fragrant Story?
With
that's
F.
two different.
Like a story that smells good. Fragrant Story. Which every time I read it, I'm like, fragrant. Okay, that's
that. Hence my confusion, because I've heard of a Vagrant Story before.
Right.
Yeah. I don't really know what to think about this game.
Okay.
It is really short. You can get it on the eShop. I think it's like $5 right now.
It's very cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. I think it took me like 38 minutes to beat.
Okay.
Because it looks like it's meant to be you beat the quote unquote main story, and then you're just kind of grinding out all this extra stuff. I don't know if that'll lead anywhere, because I'm currently in the process of grinding to find out. But this is a tactical RPG in the vein of Final Fantasy Tactics and so on, all those before and after. And it plays fine. When you choose to attack, you get like this little spinning wheel. Depending on what level of difficulty you have chosen, depends on how the wheel acts. So if you're playing on easy, the wheel will stop right when you hit the button to stop the wheel.
Oh, okay.
If you play on medium difficulty, it takes maybe an extra move or two before it'll stop. And if you play on the harder difficulty, it kind of I haven't been able to time it out. Like
you're just doing your best.
Yeah, you hit it and it seems like it's going to stop, and oh no, it did 2 more turns. So the point of the wheels is that when you attack or when an enemy attacks, the wheel comes up and you get to stop the wheel for both your characters attacking and the enemy attacking.
Oh, okay.
Which is really cool. On this wheel, you have basically the icon for a normal attack. There can be an icon for a critical attack on there. There can be an icon for a shield, which basically, if you choose that or land on that, it takes away one of the shield icons from that character instead of dealing damage. Or there's an icon for just you miss. And if you get really good with it, you can make it so that the enemies never hit you.
Oh, okay.
So, which is great, because there is a character in here that is called a bee summoner, and they summon a bee, and the bee only has 1 heart. So if anything hits that bee, it's gonna die. If you're really good at the wheel spin, that bee will fly out there by itself, and you can keep making the enemies miss if you get good with the wheel. And so the bee will be out there just MVPing the field, basically being invincible.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So there becomes a bee story, basically.
Yes.
That's right.
There is another character that I didn't really notice, that they have a move where it will get rid of any insect on the map. I did not know that would include the bee that was summoned. So when I used that character's move, it got rid of all the insects, which is fun, because I can resummon the bee at any point in time. The story, like I said, the main, I guess what they call the campaign run, there's only like 3 maps.
The copy on this is insane, by the way. Like, I'm going to read this 2-sentence description, which I'm assuming is what it says in the stores.
Okay.
The Kingdom of Flower God is under attack. Build a team of fierce fleuristas and lend your skills to the ancient aroma.
Yeah. This game goes really hard in the paint.
Right. It's got a theme, it's sticking with it.
So the
Little Rhubarb?
Yes, the main character that you were given, his name is Rhubarb, who voices Balthier from Final Fantasy 12.
Wow, that is shocking.
It definitely was when I heard his voice come through my little 3DS speakers.
Yeah.
The Melon Queen is also voiced by Fran from Final Fantasy 12. So you have those 2 in there.
Okay.
But yeah, the story only takes place over 3 maps,
Mm-hmm.
and once you beat them, it's like, okay, cool, you've unlocked some of this other side stuff that you can do, and there's like these challenge levels and stuff like that you can do. And then right now I'm at the point where I'm getting these melon tickets, so that way I can unlock certain things for rhubarb.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at in the game right now.
Okay. It seems like a cool little thing. Like, it's $5,
Yeah.
which seems like, probably cheaper than how much time they spent making this game, but it seems like a cool, fun little thing.
So I bought this without knowing what it was, like, sight unseen. Just I happened to come across it, and I was like, cool, I want that. The guy, oh crap, what's the dude's name? I don't remember who the maker is. Hang on, let me grab my box real quick. Kill time for me for 1 second.
He just took his headphones off. I have the website up here, fragrantstory.com.
All right. William Cage is the person who made this game.
Yep. Squire Games also.
Apparently that he did a lot of stuff in the industry. I'm not aware of his name, but so yeah.
Yeah, what is he? Yeah, I'll have to look what he's done. Hitoshi Sakamoto did the soundtrack also, which is wild. Yeah, you're right. Gideon Emery does the voice of the main character. Nicole Fantel does the voice of Mango. She has not really done very many other voice acting jobs, which makes it really interesting that she is in this. She was in Final Fantasy XII, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and that was pretty much it. So to see her in a 3DS game doing voice acting is pretty wild.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I bought the physical box that came with like all kinds of goodies.
Oh, nice.
And apparently the 3DS box that comes with it is Scratch and Sniff on the top.
Of course.
And everyone got a random fragrance on it.
Okay.
So I mean, I paid more than $5.
Yeah.
Which I'm completely fine with because I wanted to support him. The guy seemed like he was doing a lot, and it seemed to hit that little part of my brain where it's like, this is really stupid. I want to play this.
Yeah.
So yeah, $4 on the eShop. I mean, for a cup of coffee, you get 38 minutes of a video game that is fun to play. I've got nothing against it.
Yeah, looking at William Cage's website, he's done a bunch of other games that are like this and a bunch of like Super NES sound fonts. So he's doing a bunch of cool like 16-bit stuff.
What was I saying? He's got a lot of other projects that he's working on right now too. That, I mean, if you go to his Squire page, they're all there. So I mean, if it sounds interesting, check him out. It sounds like he's trying to get a lot of things going. And the other thing too is that it says on his website, we make the games and we release them when we're done.
Okay,
so
nice.
A lot of it is just, hey, they have a Patreon if you want to help them out that way. You can buy a T-shirt from them if you want to help them that way. They're just doing a lot of this because they just enjoy doing it, and they don't have anyone above them telling them, hey, this needs to be out in December, and they're like, it's not going to get done until February.
Right. Right. So, that's cool. I hope it does well.
Yeah, and also too, apparently it's like the second to last 3DS physical game that's coming out.
Yeah, that's
according
been
to
a
his
big
webpage,
thing,
they managed to just eke it. They eked it so close to the deadline that there is a sticker on the cart, or I'm sorry, on the actual game case. It was so last minute that they couldn't get this through the official Nintendo packaging, so it doesn't have the official like cellophane.
Oh wow, okay.
So there's a sticker on it explaining that, hey, yeah, this looks like a home job, and that's because Nintendo doesn't package these anymore.
Right.
But it is an official game made by us officially.
It's a real thing. Just you know, we're doing what we can.
Wow. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fragrant Story. You got $5? Check it out.
Yeah.
Next game, Destiny 2. Yeah, my son and I spent like 4 hours yesterday grinding out for an exotic weapon.
Yep.
That was way too much Destiny.
Yeah.
For someone who hasn't played in a long time.
I like that your son is like suffering and making you suffer under the weight of his own problem. Like he caused this problem and he roped you into it. And it's just like, that's a lot of Destiny, man.
Well, the kind of funny thing to me is that I haven't played 2 in forever. I can't even. I think. Yeah, I can't. It was before the moon broke, whenever that was, if that even matters at this point.
Probably just at launch and not much after that.
Yeah, and we did a lot of fire strikes for this stupid quest. Okay, like 4 hours worth of fire strikes. Or fire team strikes, whatever, fire ops, whatever. What are they calling it? Whatever, Vanguard strikes, ops, whatever.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I was trying to think they just changed the name, so I was like, what is the name? I don't remember.
Well, and that's why it's screwed up in my head because they used to be like fire team strikes or something.
Yeah, it was always
like
Vanguard strikes or like bring a fire team, whatever's. Yeah.
So we did a ton of those, and these haven't changed since release by a whole lot. Like,
no,
it's literally the exact same route. Oh, look, here's an enemy that wasn't there before. What is this mech thing? I have never seen that before. Oh, there's the spider tank that I knew was going to be there, though. So, so it's been a lot of that where, you know, I'm walking my son through strategies for doing a lot of these, and then like something random will just pop out. I'm like, well, that's new. And then we blow it up, and I'm like, all right, so that doesn't change the strategy at all.
Right.
We did get it done.
Nice.
We do now both have a bunch of exotic weapons. I managed to get Thunderlord again, which that's been in since Destiny 1, hasn't it? Or is that Destiny 2 only? Okay, so
no, it was definitely 1. It was shown off in the very first trailer of Destiny 1, like way before they launched.
So I've had the Thunderlord was the very first exotic weapon I ever got in Destiny 1.
Nice. It's a good one.
I also got it in Destiny 2 as my very first exotic weapon when this game came out.
You're a big fan of it.
What are we, 6 years later since the game came out?
Yeah, something like that.
My first exotic unlock was the GD Thunderlord.
Welcome back. And good news is, though, it's going to get buffed next season. Should be returned to its former glory.
And the funny thing was, like, I was telling just talking to my son, explaining to him a couple of the different systems and stuff, and then that pops up, and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. This thing will not leave me alone. So whatever. I mean, and I was explaining to him, I'm showing him what it looks like and all that stuff. I'm like, it's a good machine gun. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you pull the trigger and that thing is like a hose, and I love it for that.
And it creates lightning strikes. Super cool.
So it's just, come on, Destiny.
give me a different one.
Yeah. So it's been fun. We did some more of the I don't even know what the current season stuff is. Witch Queen.
Yeah, Witch Queen and the current season stuff is the PsyOps Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
That's the stuff in Helm.
Yeah, we did some of the stuff on the ship, and there was apparently we get to this one area, and there's supposed to be a transport that we're jumping on to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I was not aware of this, and so I'm sitting there with my multi-tool shooting in the distance, and then all of a sudden I see my son and some other character on like this trolley thing that's moving. I'm like, oh crap, that thing is really high, and I missed the boat.
Yeah.
So what I decided to do was, well, screw it. There's all these enemies on the left and right side of it. So I just jumped over there, killed them, and just kept going along the side until I got to the end and couldn't jump up high enough, and then died, and then the game freaked out because I died where I wasn't supposed to be, and it didn't know what to do with me.
Right.
So that was weird, but we get through that. It was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, the shooting's still great in this, but I have no clue what's going on anymore. I'm there to support my son. And
that's right. Dude, take out the Witch Queen, question mark?
Waiting for him to get tired of this game so I can stop supporting my son.
Right. Hey, you could just do the normal thing that a lot of people do, which is totally legitimate, is that every time an expansion comes out, you play that until the campaign is done, and you go, I still like Destiny 2, and then you leave for a year, which I think if you like the shooting in Destiny 2 and you don't care about the story, that's probably the best way to play it.
I just tune out and listen to podcasts while I play with my son.
Listen to the cool music, turn the voices down.
Biggest thing was like, oh wow, the enemy has ghosts now. That's a cool idea.
Squish.
That's the only thing I've taken away from all of this so far.
Yep. You're picking it up.
Out about it. Okay, and then we went to the moon to go do some other side quest stuff. All right, I haven't been to the moon since it's broke.
You're right.
So I land, and I'm like, oh, this is completely different from how the routes are mostly the same, but there's new gashes and crevasses and stuff that I fell into because I wasn't aware that they were there. So
I still do that.
Yeah, so we're going around and I'm showing my son and talking to him, and then we get to the point that had like the massive building with the rail. It looked like a tram rail or a pipe or something.
Yep.
And I was telling him, it's like, hey, when I played this back in Destiny 1, if you look over here, this was the only place you could spawn into the moon from.
Right. This is my area.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, old man, it's time for you to go to bed.
That's right.
So, then I was telling him about how with the pipeline, it's like we used to be able to get up top there. I wonder if they fixed it. And we spent like a good 5 minutes and we couldn't get up there. And then later on, I got a little further down. I was able to get up. I was like, oh, cool, we can still do this. Meanwhile, my son goes down a little further and he's like, hey, the pipeline's busted, so we could have just walked up this way to get on top of it. And I'm like, that's not the point, man.
Yeah. Also, don't tell me these things.
So yeah, it's funny to see what of it has changed and what of it is exactly the same as when it released. Which, I mean, I don't have a problem with. People still enjoy playing it, and I'm always that guy where it's like, if you don't have anything new to put out, don't make a third one or, another one. If what you've released as a platform is working fine, just release DLC, which is what they're doing, and it seems to be working for them right now.
Yeah, now that Activision isn't telling them, like, hey, put out another one, put a 3 on it, they're like, yeah, we're just going to keep putting more stuff into this one.
Yeah.
So
I would like eventually to see a third one at some point, but I mean, I'm not the biggest gung-ho fan out there that's requesting it, and 2, like I said, it seems to be going just fine. It feels like there's some of that old generation.
Yeah, because they're still supporting Xbox One and PS4, which is now starting to cause problems, just like 360 and PS3 did in Destiny 1. Yeah. I think they're drawing a very clear line not after the next expansion comes out, but the one after that, saying it's the end of the light versus dark storyline that they've been telling for the last 8 years. So I feel like if they're gonna do a Destiny 3, it will probably be after that, where it's like, all right, we finished up the story, the next arc, the next huge arc of Destiny, that'll be in Destiny 3.
And I mean too, for them, like, considering the fact that the next current generation of consoles is still, it's getting better, but they're still difficult to come by. Yeah. There's no reason for them to rush into a third one right now that's 100% current gen exclusive. But even though I haven't really played that much, I am kind of looking forward to see what they do with it. Like, I would love to see them do more with ships. That's always been something that I've toted, where it's like, I would love for them to take something with the ships. It doesn't have to be
like the
Warframe
approach.
Yeah, exactly. Like, wow. Yeah, that actually we used to compare Warframe to Destiny so much.
Yeah. I mean, there's still some people comparing them, but the two have diverged so wildly at this point, which is kind of neat.
Yeah. And it seems like they both also found their audience.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
And that's kind of why I'm like, yeah, it's not 100% for me, but I mean, it seems to work for the people that really love it. So it's like, all right, cool, good on you guys. You found something that works out.
For someone like me that's like been in the game and in the story for forever, I'm the person logging in every Tuesday when a season starts and be like, all right, let's get the next story beat. But I really like that Destiny 2 especially supports both the person that's going to play every week, or like me, I'm playing like 3 days a week. I'm playing on Tuesday for Reset, Thursday for Destiny, and Friday for the raid. At this point in the season, I'm not playing any other day. But I also do really like that Bungie has gotten to the point where the campaign is so, especially for Witch Queen, is so much better and so much longer than it usually is, that I am now recommending, it's like, yeah, if you like playing Destiny, buy the expansion. It's like $30. Play through it for X number of hours it takes you, and then uninstall it until the next one comes out, and you'll have fun with Destiny for like 12 to 20 hours once a year. I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. My son and I also got into player versus player. I'm trying to remember Gambit, I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a PvEVP. Thank you very much.
That's right. It's got.
Well,
both.
okay, yeah. So it is not back in my day.
Right.
So we were playing the mode. I don't remember what it was called because my son picked it, but we were playing the mode where basically your group of 4 is fighting in its own arena, it seemed like, and we're killing enemies and we're getting these motes to put into a machine, while the other group of 4 is doing their own thing on their own map, and apparently we can invade each other.
Yep.
Which I
my
wasn't aware
favorite
of.
mode.
Yeah, so we were playing that for this stupid exotic quest thing, and we were having fun, but we lost. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And we go and look at our stats and saw that it did not increase our progress bar at all. And I was like, nope, screw Gambit. I am not on the train for, which was something I thought they fixed forever ago, where it's like, I'm not in the train for playing something that if I don't win, I don't get any progress.
Yeah, it's been a frustrating bug with Gambit. Gambit has its own problems, and a bug like that for the Xenology quest is really frustrating, where you do have to win to make progress, and that sucks.
Which, I mean, because I do remember a lot of people being angry about that kind of thing, where it's like, the only way to get progress is to win, which means depending on what's happening at that point in time, you don't win 10 out of the 15 matches you've played because, elite squad's on the scene. And
and thankfully they have the freelance playlist now where it's only solo players can go in, but if you and your son are playing, that's not an option.
Yeah, but I also had remembered them changing it at one point where it's like, even if you didn't win, instead of you getting like 2 points or whatever, you got like 1 point. Yeah, because I know they did that with some of the exotic quests.
I'm fairly sure they fixed that at some point, and I think Witch Queen unfixed it. As bugs are wont to do. It's frustrating.
My family continuing to beta test games for free for people.
That's right.
But so Destiny, still a fun shooter.
Yep.
Still don't know what's going on with the story.
Welcome to Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My last game that I'm going to talk about this week. Moon, get your pencil ready. Turnip Boy commits tax evasion.
Oh yeah, I haven't started this yet.
This is on Game Pass. I understand that this is an easy achievement game also.
It is. However, now with your pencil, put an asterisk next to that name.
Okay.
2 of the achievements are currently glitched. So, however, the creator is aware, and there is a patch on the way to fix these 2 achievements.
Nice.
We'll see.
So, Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion is my kind of game. Not only is it short, it's also funny. You play as a turnip that just rips up everything. You get a bill from an IRS. The very first thing you do in this game is you push the button that says "Rip it up."
Great.
And that is the game. So it basically plays like a top-down Zelda. You're kind of just running around doing stuff for the mayor, who is taking away your greenhouse from you because you committed tax evasion in front of him by ripping up your property tax.
Sure.
So Mayor Onion takes your greenhouse away from you and tells you have to do jobs for him now. Okay. And so it starts out with simple stuff like, hey, I need you to go get me fertilizer, or go talk to this person and do this thing. Meanwhile, as you're going around talking to people, people will give you stuff like, hey, can you give this love letter to so-and-so for me? And you have the option, the only option, of rip it up in front of them. So you do that. And every time you rip up something, you get an achievement for it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a really fun short. I think it was only like 3 hours.
Okay.
for me to like get everything. My son actually suggested it to me because he was like super pumped that it came to Game Pass, and then he started playing it, and then he kept telling me that I needed to start playing it. I'm like, all right, fine, I will check it out. And yeah, pretty much within the next day and a half, I had it beat. So,
Nice.
But yeah, it was just a fun, casual game where you're just running around, checking things out, doing your stupid little missions. None of the achievements are missable, besides the 2 that are currently glitched right now. And it's just got a quirky sense of humor that you later find out that this is a post-apocalyptic game. It becomes fairly evident within like the first couple of minutes. So
Nice.
not spoiling anything, but it was really funny and it had an interesting story. So Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. Check it out. It's on Game Pass. It's just a quick little romp. And then my last game, which is also going to be super short. I started Bugsnax on the PS5. It coming to Game Pass had reminded me that I got it for quote unquote free for PSN Plus.
Financial.
Yeah. So I have downloaded it. I started playing it. I got to the first town and accidentally caught myself on fire at the campsite in the town, and that's as far as I got.
Yep. That sounds about right for starting that game.
So the game starts out where you're on it looks like an airship basically, and then a storm happens and the airship crumbles away and you fall apart, and then
the mystical land of Bugsnax.
Yeah. You wake up, you help the self-proclaimed mayor, they need food, and you find this little strawberry running around hiding behind bushes, and the game's like, hey, if you want to catch the strawberry, you need this cool little catch trap thing that you throw in its path, and then you shake the bush or you walk away, let the strawberry come back out, and then you remote activate the trap, and now you have whatever the strawberry thing is called.
Got a tasty strawberry.
Yeah, and then you feed it to the mayor, and his hand turns into a strawberry.
Yep.
Bugsnax. So, I have got before all of that, I did figure out the whole thing with the burger thing and using the slingshot with ketchup, and how you can get 2 of the burger things to run into each other and knock themselves out so you can catch them with a net.
2 of the bungers.
That was pretty funny.
Bunger.
So this is just a weird game.
It's really weird and it's really great.
I was looking for something that was not Elden Ring, and I was like, all right, yeah, I have this, let's try this out. So
yeah,
I was also really happy that catching myself on fire does not cause me damage. Apparently you do not have a health bar, because I ran through that village looking for water and could not find any, and then the flame just eventually went out. So
yeah, that's right, I guess you don't have health in that. That's true.
Yeah. And I am down for a no thrills, no dead end, because I'm stupid and did stupid things kind of game.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, that's all I played this week.
Gonna put a quick recommendation here for Zach Gage's new game, Knotwords. Knot words, all one word. If you haven't heard of Zach Gage, he made Spell Tower, Pocket Run Pool, Really Bad Chess, Flip Flop Solitaire. He's made all these kind of like, he's taking traditional games and kind of putting a little bit of a spin on them, so they're a little bit more interesting and a little bit. I think he made good Sudoku as well. Kind of makes all these great little games that are kind of infinitely replayable and do a really great job of, like, Good Sudoku does a really great job of teaching you how to play that game and the logic behind it, as opposed to, yeah, fill in some numbers, good luck. So what he's made with Knotwords is essentially a crossword puzzle where you know the answers already. So you have the typical kind of crossword puzzle grid, and it's segmented out into sort of 3 or 4 letter sections. And you know the letters that are supposed to fit in each one of the segments. So you're tasked with making words that fit in that little area, but the words also have to make other words with the words that you're filling in around it. So every word in every orientation has to make a word, just like a crossword puzzle. But it turns out to be kind of like Into the Breach, where you know the answer already, you just got to puzzle out how to get to that solution. So it's cool. It's on iOS and Android. It's free. and it seems like there's a whole bunch of puzzles in there for free, like a ton of them, and I think it's like $12 if you just want to buy all of it, which is great. It doesn't seem to have ads in it either, which I don't think any of his games do. So Knotwords, check it out. Seems fun. The only other game I've been playing this week is Nintendo Switch Sports. Came out on Friday.
See the post that someone had already put their Joy-Con through a TV.
They look like a YouTuber or Twitch streamer, so who knows? Yeah. We had a YouTuber a week ago or 2 weeks ago that crashed his plane on purpose because he made a cool video. So I don't really trust any of that. I'm 40. Yeah. Thank you for asking. So there are 6 games in here to start with. I know they're going to be patching in some additional ones in the future. My wife was very dismayed to hear that archery is not in this yet, but I think it's coming later.
Nice.
Badminton is in there. That's actually more fun than I was expecting it to be. My wife and I had a lot of fun with that. The foam sword game, it has a name. I will never remember it. It's not fun. I don't want to play it again. Tennis turns out, unsurprisingly, to be very fun. Bowling is fun, but feels kind of finicky. I don't remember how you had to play the one in Wii Sports. I thought it was just a swing the Wiimote and the bowling happens. On this one, on the Joy-Con, you have to hold either ZL or ZR, depending on which one you have, and you have to hold that the whole time to bowl. So it's not just swing the... Was it like that?
The same way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you had to hold it so that you held onto the ball, and then you released it to let go of the ball.
That has proved difficult for my kid, like that level of hold this thing and swing while you're holding. So that was an exercise in frustration, which makes sense because she's 5. But I wish there was a mode, and I haven't been able to find one. There aren't a lot of settings in this game, as most Nintendo games don't have options. I was hoping there was like a kids mode option where it's like, look, just let them swing and the ball will go down the lane. Like she doesn't care about score. She just wants to hear the pins fall.
My daughter had that issue a little bit too, where it's like she kept swinging and nothing would happen, and the ball would just drop at her feet.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating. Volleyball, I don't know how I feel about yet. It's kind of one of the more complex ones in the game because you are bumping and setting and spiking and like doing all of the additional moves with swinging the Joy-Con, and that was surprising. I wasn't really expecting that level of depth. And I haven't played that much soccer. I tried to get my kid to play, so I bought the physical version. It came with the leg strap, so I can play the soccer shootout thing. My kid did not find that super exciting, as I was largely buying this for her because she's 5, and I thought this would be a slam dunk. So far, turns out it has not been, which, you know, kids are going to surprise you all the time. But I haven't played the regular mode of that because it really wants you to play it with 2 players. And I haven't played any of the like quote-unquote campaign or the single-player stuff. It's largely been me and my wife trying and playing all these different games and be like, yeah, well, bowling is fun. I don't want to play that sword thing. We had more fun with badminton than we thought. You know, it's Nintendo Switch Sports, so I don't know when they're coming out with some of the additional ones, but it's, if I remember correctly, it's coming out like in the next couple of weeks. They're putting in like 2 more of them or something. So I'm kind of, I'm hopeful that I'll Google it in between segments here, but you know, I'm hoping they'll put some more of the classics in there, like the archery and stuff, because I think that'll hit the mark. Anyway, that's all I'm playing. Let's take a break. Nintendo Switch Sports Archery. Oh man, really hate these sites that are like, here are all the missing games from Wii Sports and Switch Sports. Are they going to get a patch? Who knows? It's like, guys, come on, man.
Yep.
Switch Sports additional games. Golf is coming. That'll be exciting. Where is? I swear. This information is impossible to find on the internet. I'm so fucking tired of this.
Dude, what the fuck were we doing? His son and I were doing something together, and whenever I tried to search something online, couldn't find a goddamn thing for it.
Yeah.
And I had to eventually type in for the video game. I can't remember what the hell. Like, I would have to put the name of it and then video game afterwards, and even then I got like maybe 1 or 2 hits.
Yeah, every once in a while, even if it's like, I run into that every once in a while, even if it's like a game that there's only a game and there's only one game with that name, it'll just be like, divorce lawyers? It's like, what? No. What are you talking about?
Oh, you're looking for the Crimson Shroud divorce lawyers in Las Vegas?
Yeah, and it's like, no, I have more questions, but no.
God, what the hell was it that I was looking for? I don't remember.
Yeah. It's weird. Nintendo Switch Sports does look pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
I'm pretty surprised at how good it looks and how well it runs. I feel like that's always my question for the Switch. It's like, is this gonna run okay? No, it's not. Okay.
Well, and that was the thing I was talking to my son about too, was that you will find with some of the games for the Switch that if it's not developed properly for the Switch, it can be really rough.
Yeah.
Because you need people that know this is what it is.
Yeah,
like
this is the hardware you got.
Witcher 3 to run on the Switch was like a miracle.
Yeah.
And apparently it runs well and doesn't look half bad on the Switch.
No, it looks pretty okay, and it's a pretty stable 30 frames.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so disappointed in SMT5, where it's like, this is your only platform for it.
Yeah.
Why does it run so poorly? Like, if you're going to put it on, like, PS5 and PC and Switch, okay, the Switch one doesn't run super well, but the other two do, you know, but like...
They still haven't patched anything with it either.
No, they patched in, like, a different camera angle, and that was really it, and it's like, guys, guys, come on.
Yeah, I mean, like, the Switch can still put out decently looking games. It's just everyone has to remember this isn't a PS5 or an Xbox Series X.
Right. It does have its limitations, which is fine. Yeah.
All right. My son's been playing Kirby. That game looks great on the Switch.
Kirby runs great and looks super good.
Yeah.
That's a good example. Yeah. Boston, you excited for Stray? Yes. Finally have a release window of summer. So we're getting there. Getting close.
Has it announced platforms yet? Is that another one I'm going to not get on the Xbox?
No, I don't think so. It's coming out on... Oh, is it a timed PlayStation exclusive? I thought it wasn't. Ah, bummer. Maybe it is. Yeah, PS4, PS5, PC. Are Darth Vader, Indiana Jones, and Family Guy coming to Fortnite? What?
Probably.
Shut up. Yeah, yeah. The answer is like, yeah. There's a good chance.
If we got enough money.
It's Fortnite. It already has Master Chief and Xenomorph, so why the hell not?
Yeah, the season pass rank 100 costume is just oh my god, Stephen Strange.
Okay.
So like, you know,
sure. It sounds right. It's 5 days away.
Yeah. You know,
Stray is coming to Steam too this year, it looks like.
Yeah. I bet it'll be a timed exclusive.
Yeah, but until we can get those patrons up, patreon.com/E1M1.
Buy Moon a
Stuck with
PS5.
PC that's like six. Yeah, that or I'm stuck with a PC that's
right.
going on like 7 years old now.
Yeah, tell your rich friends so we can get Moon a PC and a PS5. Your richest friend.
Or, if you happen to know somebody who works in a PC development place that builds PCs, and they want to send one to me for a shout out, yes, I'm recording today from my...
Shout out for the next year. I don't care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's Intel up to, huh? Haven't heard anything from them in years. They need me to review something?
Yeah, I'll review.
I'm recording this from my Intel Black.
That's right. My Intel Carbon workstation. Who knows? Send us over one. All right. You guys ready?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I still have one of those like clean room Intel guys. You remember those from the 90s? Was it 90s, early 2000? Yeah. Yep. My dad got all of them when he used to work IT, and now I have all of them because,
that's great.
Why not?
One day, all of this will be yours.
Yeah.
That's right. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of May 2nd, 2022. Loot River comes out on Xbox One, Series, consoles, and PC. If you haven't seen this is a game I've been very excited for a while. It's essentially a hack and slash loot game, but you're building...
Tetris.
Yeah, you're building the dungeon out of essentially Tetraminos. So it's a really cool looking thing. I really hope it comes together. It's coming out Game Pass day and date. So download it there on Tuesday. Trek to Yomi is coming out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. Game Pass day and date. This is Devolver Digital's black and white samurai 2D hack and slash adventure thing, which I guess is turning into a subgenre. Yeah. People seem really pumped about this game, and I keep forgetting about it. It's definitely not in my wheelhouse, but everybody's previews of this have seemed very positive.
I'm excited for it, and it's been preloaded for like 2-3 weeks now.
Nice.
Yeah, so it makes me think of Limbo. Anything that makes me think of Limbo, I'll give a shake of the stick to.
Yeah, there you go. And last but not least, a game that's made for literally me. Citizen Sleeper comes out Xbox One, Series, console, Switch, and PC. Game Pass day and date. If you know the game Tharsis, this looks very much like that. If you've never heard about a game like Tharsis, essentially this is kind of a turn-based RPG, but not really. Essentially, you're rolling dice to then slot dice into different areas that you're going around in the ship. And the better you roll, the more effectiveness your dice has when you slot it into certain things. I liked Tharsis a whole lot. I don't think this is the same team, but it seems very much like kind of a story-driven dice rolling thing. Looks really neat.
Get behind a good dice rolling game.
Yeah, it looks like one of those things where you're definitely not going to win any of your maybe first 10 attempts at the game, but it's a cool thing. I'm very curious to see what this turns out to be, and got cool style, got cool music. Seems like a neat thing. So go check out Citizen Sleeper on Game Pass when it comes out. Let's move to news stories. Hi, this is Miyamoto. I have delayed the Super Mario movie in the weirdest tweet of 2022. The tweet says, "This is Miyamoto. After consulting with Chris Son, my partner at Illumination on the Super Mario Bros. Film, we've decided to move the global release to spring 2023, April 28th in Japan and April 7th in North America. My deepest apologies, but I promise it will be well worth the wait."
We'll be the judge of that, thanks.
Yeah, I think this isn't too surprising because they announced this not too long ago, and then we haven't really seen like a teaser trailer or anything, which I think we probably would have seen by this point. Like a quick Wahoo and Mario running through some sort of green field.
Yeah, I was gonna say we haven't heard anyone voice act yet.
No, we haven't seen anything. So I think that's not too surprising. A whole year seems pretty crazy. You're going to be missing the holiday season here, sort of across the world, which seems interesting, but I think delaying it to Christmas of 2023 is probably way too far away. So there's also an alleged script overview that got quote-unquote leaked for this movie. And it's funny because I read it and it's literally just like beat by beat most kids' movies, especially Illumination movies. So not really breaking ground here if that's true, which I'm not expecting this movie to break ground. I'm not expecting in the second half, like, Luigi kills Mario and it turns into a gritty noir detective thriller. Like, it's not...
Hey,
it's not
they
Secretly
did it with
Knives Out
Detective
2.
Pikachu, okay?
That's right. They could do anything. Yeah. So we'll see. This isn't too surprising, though. This next news story. Let's get ready for Sony being Sony again, guys. Sony is requiring some devs to provide free trials to PS Plus subscribers. So, remember when we talked about Spartacus and PlayStation Plus? There was a bullet point on the highest tier of PS Plus, Premium, that said, like, hey, you're going to be able to play game trials. And everybody, including me, was thinking that's very much like those... the like play weekends that Xbox does, where it's like, hey, this game's free for 2 days, play however much you want, whatever, who cares?
Or you've got a time limit that's tied to your account of you have 2 hours with this game, go.
100%. And I thought that was a safe assumption. Not Sony. Sony says for most developers and publishers who sell a game for more than $35, you have to have a game trial. It needs to be at 2 hours long, released within the first 3 months of the game coming out, and to be available for at least a year. This does not just apply to first-party developers for Sony either, which is the craziest. And then developers are more than able to make other demos available if they choose to do so. And in one of the most boneheaded choices, the new rule also does not apply to VR games. The games you want a demo to see if it's going to make you sick. So Sony missed the mark on like 6 or 7 targets all at once, which is frankly pretty impressive even for them. This seems like...
Is it?
Well,
yeah.
Usually they miss on 1 or 2 things, not like every single mark. Because most developers and publishers have said that demos are a lose-lose proposition. You spend precious development time making either a vertical slice that is going to try to approximate some representation of your game, or you give them the first hour or 2 of the game, and then you kind of cut off the rest of it and figure out some way to transfer your save. And a lot of times they find that people that try out the demo go, I've probably had enough. I'm okay. I'm not going to pick up the final game. And a lot of people haven't needed to make demos because we have Game Pass. Yeah. So to hear that Sony is requiring developers and publishers to do this for something that benefits seemingly nobody, maybe players, but nobody wants the PS Plus premium subscription anyways because it's way too expensive for virtually nothing. So all of these developers are going to be making a product that nobody wants at a subscription level that nobody is subscribed to for nothing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Good job, Sony. you pooched it again. You took a cool idea and you just made the wrong choice a bunch of times in a row. 2 thumbs up. Last news story here. Microsoft announces the Microsoft and Bethesda Showcase for 2022. That's coming June 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific. It will be live streamed pretty much everywhere. Mostly wanted to bring this up as a PSA, but also wanted to talk to you guys about what do we want to see at a Microsoft and Bethesda showcase, sort of for a. This is clearly the like E3 time, so I'm assuming we would see a lot of stuff. What do you guys think is going to show up? What do you guys want to see show up here?
I mean, it's Starfield, isn't it? Like that's the be-all of this show.
You got to show 4 or 5 minutes of gameplay of Starfield and say, yes, it's coming out in November, right?
Or no, it's not coming out in November. I mean, honestly, I don't care. I want to know more about Starfield, but like what we had just that trailer, that CGI
it's like
trailer.
30 seconds of gameplay. Like, yeah.
So here's the thing, though, is like I am fine with not knowing much about Starfield because it's a Bethesda game, and before Microsoft bought them, this is how they did things.
Sure.
Yeah. They would announce something, they'd do a small teaser trailer, and then maybe 2-3 months later, they'd do a big E3 press conference about it, and then they'd release it 4 months later. So I am absolutely, like, if Bethesda can keep with their, like, it seems like Microsoft has very much said, you do things how you want to do it, because this is exactly how Bethesda used to do things.
Right.
So I'm fine. As long as they show something tangible about this game, then I'm fine with that. They're probably going to show the Halo campaign co-op, because that's supposed to come out later this year.
And they'll probably show Season 2 of the PvP stuff at the same time, I'm assuming. Because they're bringing back a mode or two, I believe, that I saw. And they'll probably show, like, here's a new map, and here's a returning favorite, and stuff like that. That stuff for those games is
now you
pretty
can be
well
the arbiter in multiplayer.
I was gonna say, does anyone even care about this Halo? Because it sounded like this Halo didn't do that great, even with it being on Game Pass. Like, it had a very, very short
It's having a rough
life.
time.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it feels and plays incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun to play when I played it, but I haven't gone back and beaten it because I haven't really felt a need to.
I feel like the biggest problem with Infinite right now is the expectations of the marketplace for a live service game are not meeting up to either the experience level or the level of delivery that 343 is going to do for Infinite, for the multiplayer side. Like, they're cutting back on development a ton, largely because they're saying, like, hey, COVID is still really bad and we want to prioritize everybody's health. People are getting really burnt out. They took a big break after the game launched, which should have been delayed until early this year, just to give the team some time to take a Christmas break without having the game come out. But I think we're seeing the game being fine, but not keeping up with the content the same way that other live service games do.
Yeah, because
I think if it's because their seasons are longer.
Yeah, and I feel that's a frustration point for a lot of people, saying, like, 6-month season. How you just, the standard is 3 months. It's like, yeah, but I mean,
fine with longer
usually
seasons, because you can't have 7 different video games as a service games,
right?
Where they're all 3-month-long seasons. They're all start and stop at different times.
Exactly.
Nobody knows.
Halo
what
does
anymore.
the cool thing where you can choose what season you're working on, though.
Right. Also,
So-
I'm going to float a crazy idea to people that are getting upset about this. Go play other games. You don't have to spend 6 months playing the same X number of maps in Halo. This is the same thing that frustrates me with... I'm playing a little bit of The Division again. I didn't talk about that at the top of the show. I play a lot of Destiny. Once I'm done, like, going hardcore on a Destiny season, I'm playing other video games. They exist. Go play something else. Yep. Please, God. Jimbo Jangles in chat says, would love to see a sneak peek at the Playground Games version of Fable. Yeah, I had forgotten about that.
That's gone dark.
Yeah, I feel like this would be a really great time to kind of bring it back and be like, hey, you know, we showed that teaser thing, that CG thing 3 years ago maybe. That would be a really great time. And it would be a really great time to reintroduce Forza Motorsport, the brand new one of those, because that went dark.
For a huge delay on that.
Yep, and Forza Horizon 5 is incredible, but they kind of they kind of left the normal release cadence that they usually have.
Did they get 2 Point Campus?
I think we'll get that in maybe a sizzle reel. I don't. It seems like Sega is pushing 2 Point Campus pretty hard, but Microsoft doesn't seem so yet. I feel like they might push it hard when it comes out, but it seems to maybe be in the B tier for them. But they'll probably show like
a sequel.
Oh, which one?
Plague Tale sequel, and Senua's Sacrifice has got a sequel coming too.
Yeah, they'll probably show both of those. They showed both of those last year, but they'll probably show a little bit more gameplay this year, I would think.
What was that dinosaur game that we all thought was either from Kojima or was
the Dinosaur Anthem, whatever that game is called?
Extinction or something like that.
Was that what it was?
Something
it's
like
in
that.
early access on.
I think I saw it on Game Pass, but I'm just kind of curious about what they're planning on doing with it. And also, I couldn't remember if that was actually a Microsoft thing or not. I don't ever pay attention to this.
I don't think it is, but
I don't pay attention to both the camps. It's kind of just, I'm curious on what that game is.
Right.
It's like, oh, that's a Nintendo game. Okay.
Do you think we see anything more about the Outer Worlds too? I feel like we might get a little bit of gameplay of that, but I think that's pretty far off.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to try to release that anytime soon with Starfield being out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, we probably won't see that until next year.
If anything to do with that, I think we get like one of those commercials that they did, like the capitalism style commercials where everything is fine.
Yeah,
that they did for the first
another
one, like
tongue-in-cheek one. Yeah. Jimbo in chat says, any hardware announcements? You think? I don't think so. I don't.
Yeah, they're gonna keep trying to make the current hardware so that way you can eventually buy it.
Yeah, I think if I was in Microsoft's shoes, I think you don't focus on the console. You just say like, yeah, it's doing great. You don't focus on peripherals at all. You focus a little bit on Game Pass, and then you show a ton of gameplay and just say for each one of these games, this is available Game Pass day one. And I think that's the biggest thing you do is you show gameplay trailer after gameplay trailer and say these are free on Game Pass. All of these things.
Yeah. Let's say because the Elite 2's not that old. It's only 2-3 years old.
Yeah, I don't think we see another Elite.
Yeah, so unless they do something major with their, what was it, the controller labs, the customization thing that you can order for your controllers. Unless there's something major they're doing with that, I don't really see them doing a whole lot.
No, I don't think they need to either.
I mean, they've got Mojang, so do we see Minecraft? We like sizzle reel with their new lighting or whatever.
Yeah, they'll show some ray traced. They'll show the most recent expansion that came out. I think they just show it and say like, "Hey, you still like that Minecraft? We got it."
Avowed, which is the other Obsidian game that got teased.
Oh, I don't think we see that. That was the one with the arrow flying through stuff. I don't think we see that at all.
Here's a question. Do we see a new Gears teaser? It's been a while.
That's what I was chewing on for like the last minute. Gears 5 is the most recent one, right?
Right.
Or did Tactics come out after that?
Yeah, but I'm mostly thinking like
mainline.
Yeah.
Tactics does not count. You know that.
Yeah. Gears 5 is pretty long in the tooth at this point. I don't see them putting out another piece of DLC for that. So I feel like if we see anything Gears, it will be a teaser of Gears 6. And I think they'll probably position that as, here is Gears 6, it's Series S and X exclusive.
I was going to say, because 5 was pretty much the changing of the guard for the main characters. So,
and I want to see them continue that storyline, because shockingly, I am invested in the Gears storyline at this point, which is wild.
We will, of course, have the section that I hate in every Microsoft press conference, which is, here's what, well, in Microsoft and Bethesda, respectively, we'll have here is the Elder Scrolls Online update.
Yep.
Here is the Fallout 76 update.
100%.
which I don't care about.
Here's Sea of Thieves, this update.
Yep. Deathloop.
Deathloop
will be coming to the Game Pass real soon because that came out last year.
Game Loop release date. Let's Google that. That came out, I think, almost exactly a year ago, right? That was September 14th, 2021. So yeah, you'll probably see them say like, hey, by the way, September 14th, 2022, this hits Game Pass. Wink.
Yeah. Day of dates.
Do you think we'll hear anything about Dragon Age?
No.
I'm gonna take the thing here, and I think I think we will see. I think we will see them talk about like, hey, they have had a ton of senior developers leave the project in the last couple of months. I feel like they will probably go and show one of their like traditional concept art slideshow things and be like, development continues to be fantastic in the unannounced Dragon Age game. We're so excited to show it to you sometime in the future.
Well, that's kind of been my thing, because this has been like the weird elephant in the room where people want it to come out, but they're being really cautious with it because they've had issues with Andromeda and they had issues with the last Dragon Age.
They can't screw this one up. Like two flopped, 3 did really well, but like they can't mess this one up.
I don't think we see that at Xbox. I don't think Xbox gives stage time for that. I think we see that at EA's thing. But I don't think we see that kind of thing over
that's
at
true.
Xbox's thing.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Do we see Perfect Dark?
No, I think that's gonna be the big question mark this year. Is if we see it, we'll probably see a bunch of stuff, but I feel like that's gonna be another quiet year for Perfect Dark, because the first thing they showed us was CG, and we didn't see that last year at E3 in 2021. I don't think they're gonna show it this year.
Yeah, and I know Double Fine are working on like 2 or 3 projects at once. I think they're working on at the moment.
I think they're all unannounced, but I think there's like 2 or 3 games. Yeah.
I feel like Everwild from Rare, that like really cutesy animated thing. Do we see anything more on that yet?
I feel like they'll keep that quiet. I feel like they have to show State of Decay 3, though.
I don't know. That was going to be my next question, because Undead Labs is currently getting sent through the ringer for very justified reasons.
Oh, right. They had a bunch of stuff, capital S stuff, happen.
So I don't know if they put that front and center until they have fixed the issue with that studio at the moment. Because I'm pretty sure, from what I was reading, obviously speculative here, but I'm pretty sure the people in question who are under the capital S stuff accusations, they are original people who owned it but can be released after a certain amount of time, and I think that they're hitting their release time real soon.
Sure. Okay, so
I don't know if they show that until they fix that, or if they show it and ignore that.
I feel like we're coming up to the time where they need to show a lot of that. You're right, they might try and just sweep it under the rug for another year, but they really need to show more of that. Favorable Rain in chat says Tunic 2. Man, please. Wait another 7 years. I'm excited for it.
I will happily wait another 7 years for that. Yeah. What about Indiana Jones from Machine?
Boy, that's a big question mark there.
That announcement was also weird, where they just kind of dropped it and then just went dark.
Here's a map and a whip. Bye. I feel like if I was in their shoes, I'd probably wait until I had a lot of gameplay to show, because they really need to differentiate how is this not Uncharted and how is this not Tomb Raider. Like, how are you making a game that isn't like the 2 of those? Right. Like, how are you... They probably won't show Wolf 3, because I don't see that coming out anytime soon, if they're working on it. But I feel like...
I think the original creators said that was designed as a trilogy, so there's definitely one more in the tank for Wolf.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like they gotta wait on Indiana Jones until they have, like, like a 5 or 10 minute gameplay thing where it's like, here is how this game plays and here's why it's different. I'm assuming we won't see Elder Scrolls 6. I think that's a safe. We won't see that for a couple of years. But boy, that's a lot of stuff. That's already a lot of things. I feel like I'm also missing a bunch of stuff. In Exile has a bunch of stuff they're working on, but I don't think they're gonna. They might show Wasteland 3. Oh no, they already put Wasteland 3 out.
I was gonna say it's already out.
So
on Game Pass.
I don't think they'll be there too much because Wasteland 3 in Exile doesn't make stuff that shows at not E3. You know, like they have their own thing. They put out a 10-minute gameplay trailer and people are pumped about that.
Who's doing Baldur's Gate 3?
Oh, I don't think that's in Exile.
Whoever's got 2 cents to buy the license these days.
What was I say? Because they released.
Yeah, they released a trailer.
What do you want to call that? An alpha version of it or whatever? Like there was a playable version of the game out there, and I haven't heard anyone talk about that.
Larian Studios.
Is that owned by Microsoft?
Not yet.
Even a couple of years.
Yeah. What did they put? Oh yeah, they did a bunch of Divinity 1 and 2 for they did port jobs on that. And they made the old Divinity games on PC. I forgot. I totally forgot about that. So that's also not my jam, really.
Well, that was because that was released, but they released it as like an alpha or a beta or something.
Yeah, it was like the character creator and a little bit of gameplay to try it out. It was like a technical test almost.
Yeah, but then no one said anything about it. Whatever.
What about id? What are they working on?
Doom.
id are probably working on either. Well, I don't know because
Doom Eternal's done. Like that's largely done at this point. I feel like it is one of the few studios where you have no idea what they are working on, and then they're like, "Hey, we got a brand new game. Here it is. It comes out in like 2 weeks. Enjoy."
Like my question then is do they? Does it did Doom? Did it also do the Wolf, or was that Machine? Because I think that might have been Machine.
Yeah, I think that was Machine for both of them.
Do they take Wolf back?
I get the impression that they don't care about Wolfenstein at the moment. It seems like they've been happy with Doom, and they're probably always side-eyeing Quake, where it's like, well, we gotta make another Quake. What if we do Doom 2016 for Quake? That would be okay.
Yeah. I mean, if they can make a Doom 2016 equivalent for Quake, I would be perfectly happy with that because Doom 2016 is arguably one of the best video games ever made.
Yeah.
Simple, easy answer to this. Rage 3, problem solved. Let's move on.
Sold. I don't think we see Tango Gameworks announce anything. Evil Within, or not Evil Within, Ghostwire Tokyo just came out.
It's still got like 8 months left on its thing.
Yeah, I think they came out very, very openly and was like, this is a 1-year exclusivity deal. Look for it in the future.
So my question is, do they throw a support thing out for the devs behind Stalker? Because that is on permanent hiatus for now because that was being developed in Ukraine.
Yeah, that's a good question. There are a lot of Ukrainian studios that are in a bad spot right now.
But like Microsoft, I'm pretty sure owned the Stalker team.
Well, didn't they say that didn't that team go to a different country?
I think they're in the process of moving to a different country. Yeah,
they're trying to work it out.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think I remember hearing something like that. Yeah. How about the elephant in the room? Activision Blizzard.
No, we don't see nothing. No, it's a lot.
What are they going to announce?
Yeah, they don't do nothing.
Yeah, unless the sale goes through before then. If the sale goes through before this, they'll probably show a little bit of Overwatch 2. They'll probably show a little bit of Diablo 4, but both of those are in controversial spots, respectively.
That Diablo mobile game that they moved over to PC.
Mobile and PC, because they said, well, you guys are gonna just emulate it anyway. So,
Yep.
I think that's everybody. I'm excited to see this one because this is gonna be. I think this is gonna be
I didn't know that. They put it to the shareholder vote like 2 days ago.
For Activision Blizzard? Yeah, and the shareholders accepted.
It was approved, yes, which means...
Shockingly, because it's going to mean $1 bajillion for everybody involved. But...
Everybody at the E level, not below.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so I think this one is going to be pretty interesting because I think this is going to be the real first big, proper Microsoft and Bethesda conference that they're doing, because last year's one was kind of like, we got Bethesda and we got some stuff here, but don't worry about it. But I think this will be kind of the first big proper introduction for all that stuff. And I think it'll be, like I said, I think if Microsoft is smart about it, you just say like, everything we're showing here today is available on Game Pass day one. Look at all this beautiful bean footage, and then they just roll a ton of games.
Well, they did that a couple of years ago, like where they literally, I don't think it was last year, I think it was the year before Z3. Mm-hmm. Every single game they had on the show was Game Pass day and date, and that included some big games too.
Yeah, some big third-party
stuff from third-party people.
Yeah, and I think like that has to be. If you're not going to announce hardware, you're not going to announce peripherals or VR or AR or anything. Just like hammer that message home of like, yeah, all of this stuff is free if you pay us $10 a month. That's it. Look at these 25 games that are free. I seems like a no-brainer. Yeah. All right. That's our episode for this week. I have a question here from Pharaoh Reigns, but we're out of time here, unfortunately. So either I'll answer it privately, or we'll have some podcasting advice next episode. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including the link to the Discord server, or go to discord.tvgp.tv. Patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are the digits, the numbers.
You can get all the cool audio we talked about. There's like over 1,200 episodes of things on the Patreon feed right now, which is positively crazy. And you get all that cool stuff. You help me pay for all of these shows and the software and hosting, all that stuff, because that stuff is not cheap. We greatly appreciate it. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. The best way to support us and a whole bunch of other stuff that you listen to is by going and sharing on social media. Go share it socially. Word of mouth is the best way to support anything you love. And we appreciate any support, especially rating us 5 stars where you listen to, or more. If you can figure out how to rate us, 6 or 7 stars out of 5, that'd be great.
Yes, please.
Get us way up there. And you can find the show on pretty much everywhere. Amazon. We're recently added to Amazon Music Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on pretty much all the Google podcast. They keep changing the name of it, so who knows what it's called now. And pretty much everywhere else. If we are not somewhere that you're listening, please let me know, and I will try and get us over there. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye. Use the Meltzer scale.
Use the what?
Meltzer scale.
Use the tuna melt scale? Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, the Meltzer. Dave Meltzer. It's a wrestling reference. You guys
okay.
Get it.
I'm just hungry. I'll talk about tuna melts all day.
Don't. It's been so long since I've had a tuna melt.
I was just thinking that, like, when is the last time I've gone to a Denny's and gotten a tuna melt? It's too long.
When was the last time I had a good, solid grilled cheese?
Yeah.
Last week. Grilled cheese, a little bit of bacon.
Lucky. Anywho,
I had a club sandwich yesterday. It was real nice.
I love a good club sandwich.
Get a nice dipping sandwich, a little bit of rice, some roast beef. Just dip that thing all day long.
A little bit of that au jus.
So the thing that led me to a club sandwich was funny because someone on my Twitter timeline randomly mentioned Mitch Hedberg.
Yes.
So of course, I had to go and listen to the Mitch Hedberg albums.
Yep. Oh, they're so good.
A lost genius. And
Yes.
of course, one of his sets is about a club sandwich.
Yep.
And then I happened to be sitting down at this place and I was like, they have club sandwiches. I'm going to have a club sandwich. Because I too
The stars aligned
in my club in my sandwiches.
That's right.
I do not like alfalfa sprouts.
Just
bummer.
do something simple. A nice BLT.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Anywho,
That's exactly what I had.
Nymph, what are your titles?
That was just an intro to our future food podcast.
That's right.
I have Best Super Villain Florida Man.
Mm-hmm.
Internet Moves Too Fast. What's your Google level? What's your multiplier at? Anakaren Skywalker.
Oh.
And Nesting Doll of Niches. Or Niches. Depending on your dialect and where you're from.
Moon, what do you have?
Whoopsie. Anakaren Skywalker. Demake of the Remake. Do the Hair Swap. A B Story. The Ancient Aroma. And 2 cents to buy the license.
The Ancient Aroma. I have Anakaren Skywalker, Nesting Doll of Niches, and What's Your Google Level? I feel like it has to be Anakaren Skywalker.
I'm not gonna lie, I really like that one. I hate the fact that I wrote it down because I was like, I need to not forget about this joke. Because
right, you've been giggling about it all week. You're like, Anakaren.
So,
I'm just gonna circle it because it is the right amount of dumb for this show.
Yeah, it's one of 3 for me. It's that one, it's Demake of the Remake, and Nesting Doll of Niches, because Nesting Doll of Niches is also very much this show.
Yeah, that's a very TVGP title.
Honestly, I'm fine with Anakaren Skywalker though. I can't believe I pronounced that correctly that time.
Jimbo also says, I'm 40, thanks for asking. That is a solid title.
Yeah, it really is.
The callback to something you guys haven't heard yet. Go sign up for the Patreon. My vote is going to go for Anakaren Skywalker. I think that's too clear of a winner for me.
It's just so perfect as well. If you played that level, it's so good.
He's so angry about OSHA violations. It's great.
Okay, I've got something. It's bad, but I've got something.
And I'm looking something up.
Oh no. We gotta do research for this one. Okay.
Time for the deep dives.
That's right. Now I just want to get a club sandwich.
Yeah, I do too.
I
have to go out after this and go and finish something, so I'm debating just getting fast food on the way.
There's a deli around here that does a nice double-decker club sandwich. It's so good. Man. Okay, you ready?
Part 2 sneak peek of the foodcast.
That's right. I'm very hungry. I haven't eaten enough today.
Too. Me too.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 758 for May 2nd, 2022. Anakaren Skywalker.
This is why we have a civil war.
All he's missing is that A-line cut.
That was well worth the research. Thank you.
I absolutely could not remember what that hairstyle was called for a moment.
I like it. I like a good, well-researched joke.
I like the fact that you went light and humorous and I went super dark.
That's right. Not the
you gotta balance. It's all about balance, man.
That's right. I have heard.
Although usually
the Grey Jedi.
I was gonna say usually I'm the one that's on the other side, but
that's right. That's right. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We super appreciate it. Hope you can tune in next week. Jimbo, have a safe trip, and we'll see everyone next time. Bye.
Bye.